From VOA Learning English, this is the Health Report. The pomegranate is one of the oldest known fruits. Pomegranates are found in ancient writings and pictured in the ancient art of many cultures and religions. Experts think the pomegranate is a native to northern India, Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan. The pomegranate grows on trees. The skin of the fruit is strong. The inside is filled with beautiful dark red seeds that shine like the red jewels called rubies. It is not easy to get them out. These seeds are loaded with many nutrients and chemicals called antioxidants. These remove poisons from the body. The pomegranate is also a symbol of health, fertility, and long life. Parts of the pomegranate tree and fruit are used to make medicine for many conditions. However, the U.S. National Institutes of Health says there is not enough scientific evidence to rate pomegranate as effective for any of them. Still, in traditional medicine, pomegranate is used for conditions of the heart and blood vessels, including high blood pressure and hardening of the arteries. It is also used to treat high cholesterol and digestive conditions. Some people use pomegranates for weight loss and as a treatment for sore throat. Pomegranate seeds contain substances called unsaturated oils, carbohydrates, and fiber. Pomegranates are also high in vitamin K that helps to support bone health and vitamin B5 that helps the body process protein, carbohydrates, and fats. The fruit is also high in phosphorus, magnesium, calcium, zinc, and iron. You can use pomegranate seeds in many recipes. They make a delicious and healthful addition to your meals. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal. From VOA Learning English, this is the Education Report. Parents in South Australia's Aboriginal areas may lose some of their financial aid if they do not send their children to school. New rules link school attendance with government assistance to people living in poverty. Warren Mundine is Prime Minister Tony Abbott's top advisor on issues concerning Aboriginal Australians or Aborigines. He disagrees with linking the aid to school attendance. Instead, he urges the government to find ways to improve attendance without punishing parents. He says he thinks strong punitive measures should be the last plan of action. Mr. Mundine says the situation can change if tribal leaders support education. He says the government needs to work with parents and communities to make what he calls a massive cultural change. Other officials argue that the threat of stopping aid will force families to take education more seriously. In South Australia State, only 50% of children stay in school after the age of 15. In some areas, as many as 90% of Aboriginal children struggle to read and write. The state government says it has special programs for Aboriginal students. It says students work with their parents and teachers to develop a personal learning plan and re-examine it every year. Public schools also have people available who can work individually with Aboriginal students who need extra help. And there is a program that helps Aboriginal students deal with the change from middle school to high school. About 670,000 Aborigines live in Australia. The state of Western Australia also has special programs for these native peoples and other groups. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Agriculture Report. The United Nations says hunger kills more people every year than AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. There has been progress since 1990 toward ending hunger, but it is estimated that more than 840 million people worldwide still do not have enough to eat. Asma Latif is the director of the Bread for the World Institute. She says there is now a chance to end world hunger and not just react to emergencies. Ms. Latif says she believes it is possible to meet that goal by 2030. Asma Latif says many countries have worked together to try to end hunger worldwide. She says the governments of countries most affected by hunger have worked especially hard. She also praised the United States for its support and leadership on the problem. In 1996, the UN World Food Summit released a document known as the Rome Declaration. It called for reducing the number of hungry people by half within 20 years. Ms. Latif says, when the document was released, there was no plan on how to meet that goal. She says a food security crisis in 2008, caused by high prices and shortages, led countries and organizations to change the way they fight hunger. She says the resulting riots around the world showed political leaders that food insecurity was a national security threat. Ms. Latif says the Obama administration has made food security and ending hunger a main goal since that time. She also says enough food is now produced for all people, but many are still too poor to pay for it. For VOA Learning English, I'm Carla Babb.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Economics Report. Chinese officials have predicted lower economic growth again this year. They say that huge government spending programs are coming to a close. Instead, officials say they are seeking what they call higher quality but more modest growth. The goal is to increase spending at home in China and grow the economy in a more balanced way. In March, Chinese Premier Li Keqiang reinforced this opinion when he announced a target growth rate of 7% for 2015. That is well below the average over the last 20 years. However, there are signs that the government has not yet ended its big spending programs. Li Keqiang announced a 13% increase in fixed asset investments, things like buildings and machinery. The premier also said there would be new spending in energy, railways, water management, and housing. In January, Mr. Li promised to create 10 million new jobs in 2015, partly through investment in building projects. The new spending program is less than the stimulus plan China put in place during the world financial crisis. In 2008, China announced a spending package of $570 billion. This year, however, $260 billion is set aside for spending on the economy. To pay for new projects, the government is borrowing money. Finance Minister Lu Jiwei said in a news conference that deficit spending will be about 2.7% of the gross domestic product. The GDP is the value of all goods and services produced by the economy in 1 year. For VOA Learning English, I'm Jonathan Evans.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Economics Report. Last week, we reported that international economists released a hopeful report about Africa's economy. The African Development Bank, the United Nations Development Program, and the OECD Development Center wrote the report. It predicts economic growth on the continent could reach 5 or 6% over the next 2 years. Economists expect 7% growth in West Africa's economy in the next 2 years. They say oil continues to be a major source of income, but that other industries are also important. Growth in Nigeria is coming from agriculture, trade and information, and communications technology. Manufacturing is helping Ghana grow. Sierra Leone is the fastest growing country in the area because of its iron ore exports, as well as its agriculture and building industries. In southern Africa, Angola, Mozambique, and Zambia are expected to grow between 5 and 7%. Labor problems and weak foreign export markets have affected growth in South Africa. But that country is still expected to grow almost 3% over the next 2 years. Angela Lusigi is an economist and policy advisor for the Regional Bureau for Africa in the UN Development Program. She says many countries are working to balance their budgets, and they have solid financial policies. She says the next question is how to make those improved policies result in growth that helps all of a country's citizens. She says inequality remains a big problem in Africa. Ms. Lusigi says it is important to have growth that affects all people and not just one group. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal. From VOA Learning English, this is the Technology Report. Researchers in Hungary have now confirmed what many dog owners already knew. Dogs, or canines, can understand our feelings. Scientists used magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, to learn about dog emotions. The research showed that they are similar to the emotions of human beings. An MRI uses magnetic fields to produce images of the inside of the body. MRIs are painless and do not require the patient to be cut open. However, the patient must remain still, and the patient must be awake to record brain activity. In the past, dogs have not been good MRI patients. They are not usually calm in a laboratory. But researchers at Hungary's ELTE University petted the animals and gave them food treats. As a result, the scientists were able to capture images of the dogs' brains. Researchers trained 11 dogs to stay completely still while images were taken of their brains. The researchers tested the dogs' reactions to about 200 emotional sounds, including crying, playful barking, and laughing. Then they compared the dog reactions with reactions from humans. The researchers discovered that the reactions were similar. These findings are not just important to dogs and the people who love them. The researchers say this study establishes a new kind of comparative brain science. They say it was not possible to measure the brain activity of a non-primate and a primate in a single experiment until now. The Hungarian scientists say the study has a message for ordinary dog owners too. Treat your dogs as real friends. Now, there is scientific proof that they do in fact understand what you are feeling. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal.